sure this lighting is fine. Welcome to Camaraderie, a channel dedicated to the inconvenience and expense of film photography. Today's episode is sponsored by the supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy. Let's get right into it. Fujifilm just announced that they will no longer be producing Pro 400H, which was their professional grade 400 ISO color film designed with studio photographers and wedding photographers as their target audience. I will now ask you to join me in a moment of silence for a fallen comrade. Okay, that was long enough. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the implications of yet another film stock falling by the wayside. For starters, wedding and portrait photographers who insist on shooting their events on film will have to find something else to load into their Contax 645s. Second, it means that Kodak tightens their already considerable stranglehold on the color film market and will probably adjust their prices accordingly. Again. Third, and this brings me to the point of today's discussion, what does the future of film photography look like? Like everything else on this godforsaken rock, the film industry has been hit pretty hard by COVID issues. Ilford stopped manufacturing for a while due to the restrictions that were placed on working conditions, on top of the disruptions further up the supply chain. Same with Kodak, Fujifilm, and presumably all of the other major players. Generally speaking, things just kind of suck with COVID, man. It really does. And I don't like it. Here's something that should shock absolutely none of you. Film cameras aren't really being produced anymore. So that means not only has the cost of entry for new photographers and those of us with gas is constantly increasing, but that also means our beloved little analog light boxes will eventually deteriorate if they haven't already. And with an ever diminishing stockpile of replacement parts available for repairs, their lifespan is limited. So basically, unless that entire situation turns around, film photography will be an even more esoteric pursuit reserved for the lucky or wealthy, or it will die out entirely simply due to a lack of tools. You can't make whiskey without water. You know what I mean? Like, you can't take film pictures without a film camera. You can't make whiskey without water. It makes sense. Speaking of water, that makes me think of our planet's resources, and more specifically, the scarcity of finite resources. So let's get into the reason why Fujifilm discontinued Pro 400H. According to their press release, Fujifilm Pro 400H film is a unique product that is coated with a fourth layer, requiring specialized raw materials and chemicals. As it has become increasingly difficult to procure the raw materials needed to produce Pro 400H, we regret to inform you that after careful consideration, Fujifilm has made the difficult business decision to discontinue Pro 400H. So basically, yeah, the raw materials aren't there anymore for them to keep making Pro 400H. If you didn't know, film stocks are like barbecue. Each variety is different and everybody has their own secret recipe. Nobody except for the main muchachos at Fujifilm know exactly what goes into that special fourth layer that they mention, but it's what gives it that signature Fujifilm professional look. But we can't assume a couple of things. That fourth layer has something to do with the color cyan, and whatever else is in that fourth layer is really hard to get. To me, this has similarities with Kodak stopping the production and processing of Kodachrome, and why it will probably never come back. The emulsion requires an incredibly specific recipe made up of rare materials, but obtaining those materials is going to cost a lot of money, and it's only going to go up from here on out. And also the environmental impact must be considered. Yeah, shooting film is not exactly easy on the planet. From start to finish, producing and processing film is a never-ending rabbit hole of environmental problems. Ripping apart Mother Earth to get some rare minerals like silver? Check. Using animals to make the base layer of gelatin for every single film out there? Absolutely. Wasting a metric buttload of water in all steps of the entire process? Of course. Of course. All this is the tip of the iceberg, and it's not a good look from an environmentally friendly viewpoint. Oh, but Luke, you say. That's why the gods in their infinite wisdom atop Mount Olympus gave us digital cameras. Yeah, don't even get me started. Digital cameras have the same problem, if not arguably worse. That goes for cameras on your phone too. So you might be thinking, wow, what a great advertisement for taking pictures, especially on film. And yeah, it's something that weighs pretty heavily on my mind from time to time. And it's something that every photographer thinks about, or at least they should. After all, is it worth it to play one's part in the destruction of the planet just to take a few snaps to record a tiny fraction of one's cosmically insignificant lifespan? I mean, the universe will eventually die, and it can be argued that nothing one does actually matters, because it doesn't. And all human existence will be rendered meaningless in the end. But life is beautiful, even in its most wretched moments. And it's all we have. And I want to hold on to that until I am dust. I want to leave a record, a physical record of my time on this plane of existence. So that maybe those who come after me might have a glimpse from someone else's perspective. My perspective, your perspective, everybody's perspective. Who knows, maybe it'll be from the distant past at that point. They'll have a legacy of where they came from. And in so doing, maybe they'll have some hope for where they're going. Wherever that is. History does repeat itself after all, so there's a cyclical nature to it. But yeah, Fujifilm Discontinued Pro 400H. So, thanks for watching.